Along with the traditionally established needs for content, research skills, and meaningful application of learnings to real life, today, in addition, collaborative teamwork is an essential part of our increasingly interactive educational process. So we ask what steps need to be taken and what tools are needed to facilitate effective student work, especially teamwork. Having wrestled with the video, The New Math of Multicultural Work Groups, you are now aware that even effective face-to-face teamwork is still an intercultural challenge. It's too easy and too often assumed that assigning people to work together as partners in teams across cultures is enough to create a team. This assumption is even more common among students. So we need to be careful that when using teamwork as a didactic methodology, we don't think of it as not requiring much professor's responsibility. We may assume that the student should already know how, or that they can work it out for themselves and create a team with their group. We tend to think that the professor's focus should simply be on elucidating the topic and the tasks, the performance deadlines, and the evaluation of the result. While this has never been a fully valid assumption, it is critically important to reject this assumption today. Given the diversity of students, often coming from cultural and linguistic backgrounds, it just doesn't fit. Now, as well, we are entering unfamiliar and still developing virtual and hybrid contexts, a new dimension to our teaching. It's been demonstrated that diverse teams can be more creative and more productive than homogeneous teams in many situations, in the workplace, for example. However, be warned that this only occurs when there is competent team management and facilitation. In other words, someone must prepare the team for its work and guide it, and this includes troubleshooting cultural as well as the personal and practical challenges which often get entangled with each other. Overall, there must be significant emphasis on the students learning about each other, connecting personally and culturally, and having both the intention and the tools to do this, and to do it well. More specifically, when it comes to creating and supervising teamwork, professors need to be familiar with the stages of team development, as well as the diversity, equality, and inclusion issues that are so hot topics in diversity training these days. They need to familiarize the students who are forming teams with basic insights about what to watch out for, what to do. This is true whether creating team projects that are going to last only a week or maybe those that go for an entire semester. The learning objectives and teamwork are infinite, and depending on the subject matter, of course, and that's the challenge of the day. How do we put this subject matter into the hands of the students so that they know what hands to use and how to handle it? While for most academic project teams, cultural diversity is seen as an essential value, there are times when monocultural teams are appropriate for achieving certain learning objectives. So, even in the so-called homogeneous teams, one encounters a wide range of personal values and thinking, and team members may be different also because of their background, personal motivations, specific knowledge, and skills. So this is often something that the professor himself or herself wants to be knowledgeable about so that they can select and assign teams appropriately to the student, team roles appropriately to the students on the team. Students may also be asked to select team members on their own. You must do this with great care because indeed, too often students automatically team up based on friendship and familiarity. Criteria that do not help to create diverse and heterogeneous teams are not useful for where we're going. So friendship and familiarity might develop nicely in a diverse team or even a monocultural team, but you can't count on it. So when choosing students for diverse teams, it's also important to remember that culture is not limited to just nationality, race, or ethnicity. It may involve gender, other social dimensions, disciplinary and experiential backgrounds, roles that people have undertaken which steer their lives in different directions. Though these features could present barriers to group interactions, they can also be used as criteria to form multicultural teams. In other words, to increase the diversity in ways that people will learn from each other and create new synergies from the differences. Engaging in multicultural team activities offers the possibility of enhancing students' intercultural competence and their ability to manage and benefit from team members' differences. So consider giving the team self-monitoring instructions at least, or offering occasional facilitation to troubleshoot team conduct and promote synergy. If things are not going well, or if they are, one should be aware of it. Processes for examining team collaboration and behaviors can be set up and scheduled for longer-lasting teams, or in some cases, experienced students could be assigned to occasionally facilitate or coach the younger students in their activities. Students should know that inquiries into team activities and progress are normal forms of support. They're support. They're not just trouble checks. This is important so that we reduce the cultural and personal fears of being evaluated and of failing and therefore closing down open communication. Evaluating the product of the team's efforts and assigning grades is important, but learning from the experience should involve not just the team's final presentation, its value, its quality, but a debriefing session either with the entire team or with individual students when it's unlikely for cultural reasons to occur effectively in a full team briefing. So the debriefing session can be done in a face-to-face conversation and or in written form, individually or in a group. So debriefing may be difficult if it is confused with the professor's role of evaluation. That's the important point here. It's help, it's not evaluation. A third party might be useful sometimes in such situations rather than the professor. Even though the professor will continue to learn from the results of the debriefing, it should be such that each student feels the benefit of their team experience as well as learns from it.